Kate has been through an incredible traumatic experience with the car accident and its aftermath. How did you prepare to portray the emotional complex of her character, especially in scenes dealing with loss and trauma?
I think what helps me the most, you'll hear a lot of things where it's like, oh, well, you have to think about, someone in your family passing away to make you cry. But those type of things just never work for me. For me personally, sort of putting myself in the character's shoes. So imagining what my life would be like if I was Kate is what is most helpful for me because I can sort of tap into those emotions and without comparing them to something that is unrelated.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's something that my mom, who is also my acting coach, she's a queen. I definitely have learned that from her as well because I think she's an actor also and she relates to that too. So I think sort of growing up, that's what's helped me the most for all the characters I play is just trying to dive into the character as much as possible.
Yes. What aspects of Kate's personality do you find most appealing, and how do you showcase her resilience in the face of such personal tragedy?
Kate is super strong-willed, and I think she sort of like puts on this super hard front of being super tough and unbothered. And in reality, she is hurting a lot. I think she needs her mom, and not having her mom around is really tough on her. So, sort of being able to show both sides of that, show that although she like puts on this hard front and she is a strong-willed independent young woman, she also is hurting. And so it's sort of this double-sided coin situation that I enjoy playing both sides of her, and I think that she can often be misunderstood, but it's important to see where she's coming from.
Very true. As the season progresses, how do you envision Kate's growth? Are there any particular moments or developments you're excited for the audience to see?
Yeah, I mean, in season two, especially, it's been 2 years. So in season one, Kate was 14 and now she's 16. I'm 16 as well now. And so you sort of like jump through these 2 years that have passed and you see the changes that she has gone through with her family and sort of how she's finding herself and evolving as a person and how she's learned from those past experiences. And she her relationship with her mom is evolves evolves a lot in season two, and you sort of get to see that side of the family more where Kate has sort of come back down to earth, is finding this sort of newfound maturity, and so you get to see a different side of her, which I think is really nice.
Yes, especially the scene, I think the first episode when Joe is leaving and Kay start crying. Like usually, in first season you were like, oh, okay, she's going, but now it was like her vulnerability of just being like crying and like she's sad that her mom is actually leaving now. So I like the difference of that, seeing that.
For sure, yeah.
How does Kate's perspective of her mother's work as a CIA operative shape her own views on responsibility and sacrifice, particularly after their candid conversation about Joe's job?
Yeah, in season two, Kate, I think, is sort of figuring out what her mom is doing. She doesn't know a lot,
Mhm.
and I think Joe sort of it's a part of the thing is she's a spy. She works in a spy, so she has to keep things a secret. So the whole family is
Mhm.
sort of blindsided into what her entire job is. But based on things that Joe sort of sneaks into conversation, Kate is picking up little bits and pieces. She sees her mom on the TV and this super dangerous situation that's going on, and it freaks her out. So I think she is learning about the sacrifices that her mom is having to make, but she's also in that sort of weird place where it's why are you making these sacrifices because you're sacrificing your family at the same time. So she's sort of in that weird place of resentment and admiration because it's wow, this is a really great thing, respectable thing that you're doing, but at the same time, I mean, you're not around and you're risking your life and your family is here at home waiting for you all the time. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's definitely a part of season two that you get to see grow, which is interesting.
This show features strong female leads, including your character. What do you think Lion's contributes to the representation of women in action and military narratives, and how does Kate fit into that representation?
I mean, Lioness is filled with strong, independent women. We have Joe, we have, I mean, the list is ongoing. The entire premise of Lioness is that it's women going into these dangerous situations. So, they
Mhm.
have a lot of guts. I think it's really important that stuff like this is being put into the media of showing just strong women doing their thing and being in these more masculine roles.
Mhm.
Uh, Season one, you got Liza up there doing 2,500 pull-ups, being all ahead as she should, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, Kate as well. I mean, she's season one, especially. You can see how much of a hand
Mhm.
she's not afraid to use her voice, not afraid to speak up. Uh,
Mhm.
she is not afraid to fight back.
Yes.
So I think she probably gets that from her mom, that
Mhm.
strong-willed personality passed down to Kate. So I think she sort of represents that same thing that Lioness as a whole does, where it's sort of representing these women that are just independently awesome,
Mhm.
um, and smart. Um, I think Kate, I think Kate represents that a lot as well.
Working with a cast that includes Zoe Saldana, Nicole Kidman must be exciting. What are some of the lessons or tips that you may have learned from them during filming?
Yeah, I mean, Zoe is absolutely amazing. I literally cannot say enough nice things about her. Working on set, I always say I feel like how I've learned the most on set working alongside her is just being observant. The way she carries herself on set is very telling to who she is, and it helps me a lot just watching her, how she gives suggestions, takes and gives directions. I mean, she's also one of the producers on the show, and so the way she moves is just really sort of empowering. And yeah, just by learning and seeing her process as she brings Joe to life and sort of incorporating the things that I uh, learned just from watching her into my own routine as an actor has been incredibly helpful.
What has been the most surprising or touching fan reaction you received regarding Kate's storyline, especially considering her traumatic experiences and personal growth?
Um, there was, yeah. So my friend, um, my brother's friend, their
Mhm.
parents watched the show, and in season one they said that the lessons that Kate learns in season one, they like use those lessons as
Mhm.
examples for her own children
Wow.
and giving them examples for like, this is what happens when
Yeah.
you're in the car, you're distracted and you're on your phone and you're being irresponsible. These are the kind of things, these are real life situations that they can lead you to. And you can sort of see the consequences in the show that happens with Kate. Worst case scenario,
Mhm.
these are some of the consequences that you can have. So I thought it was interesting how you know me portraying this person on screen, how the lessons that Kate was learning were also being used to teach people in real life world and in my own like friend circle too.
Yes. Looking ahead, what are you most excited for about Kate's character in the upcoming episodes? Are there any unresolved storylines you're particularly eager to explore?
I'm I'm really excited for people to see the other side of the family this season.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, just Kate is finding herself, and she's recovering from
Yes, I got you.
from
Yeah.
recovering from it all,
Yes.
in season one. So she's really growing a lot as a young woman, and instead of having this sort of really like like combative resentment filled attitude towards her family, you sort of get to see a softer side of her in season
Mhm.
two. I think she's learned from her experiences. You can't take things for granted. So I think she has like this sense of gratitude coming in.
Mhm.
And I'm just excited for people to see the other side of her because it's a whole different it's a whole different version. It's been 2 years, so she's a whole
Mhm.
different girl. And I think it's gonna be really fun for people to see that.
What do you hope audiences take away from her character and her story?
Um, I hope people use Kate's experiences as a way to, well, I would say two things because one, she was super misunderstood. Like she can be really misunderstood. So
Mm-hmm.
I think keeping in mind, like in day-to-day life, the like two sides of every story, she was putting on this super hard, sort of bratty attitude on the outside, and in the
Mm-hmm.
inside, she was really hurting and she really needed the support of her family.
Mm-hmm.
So I think paying attention. I hope people take away the pay attention to people. Ask how your friends are doing. If they need a helping hand, give them a helping hand. It's not too much to be nice to people because you never know what's going on the other side of the coin.
That's true.
And um, I would say coming out of all the things that she's coming out in season two and to see like her
Mm-hmm.
growth uh in season two and how far she's come from before um, she went through a lot in season one, and you, I hope people take away that all this stuff that she went through, she learned from it,
Mm-hmm.
and she's trying to improve as a person, improve her relationships, and I think it doesn't need to be a almost fatal car accident where you have to learn to not take the people around you for granted, your own things in your personal life for granted, but to sort of, just live like as corny as it is, really
Yeah.
do live life like it could be your last day. Like just live
Very,
life
yeah.
for real.
Yes, very, very true. Are there any projects that you're currently working on that you want people to know about?
Coming out of the strike and everything, I think
Mm-hmm.
the industry is sort of in like a weird place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a lot in my personal life. I'm graduating high school in a couple
Oh,
months.
congratulations.
I'm gonna be starting college
Oh,
uh soon. So I think as I grow and juggle things together and figure myself out more and I think, you know, the right doors will open and where I'm supposed to be is going to be where I'm supposed to be. I mean, that's at least how it's been so far. Where I'm supposed to be is where I am. So,
yes. Very true. Well, congratulations on graduating. I know I enjoyed that part of my life, and that was a great experience in college. You'll learn a lot, do good in school, keep your head on straight, get in study groups. That's like literally my advice for people. But
thank
what would you say to everyone who are fans and supporter of the work you have done on this series?
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm still sort of in awe and starstruck. I feel like everything is just happening so fast. It's such an interesting job because you'll be doing nothing and then you'll just be doing everything the next day. And I'm just so incredibly blessed and grateful to be here and the people that are following along and supporting. I cannot thank them enough. I'm so happy.